The Lazy Man's Guide to Enlightenment by Thaddeus Golas. Forward. I am a lazy man. Laziness keeps me from believing that enlightenment demands effort, discipline, strict diet, non-smoking, and other evidences of virtue. That's about the worst heresy I could propose, but I have to be honest before I can be reverent. I am doing the work of writing this book to save myself the trouble of talking about it. There is an odd chance that this is what someone needs to read in order to feel better about himself. If you are a kind person and want to know what to expect when enlightenment strikes, and why it comes to you, with or without psychedelic help, this is for you. These are the rules of the game as I see them. I realize that many of us are opening up very fast these days, and one of the most common delusions we face is the belief that our sense of revelation is unique. The feeling of knowing the truth is not enough. My intention is not to pretend final truth, but to suggest certain simple attitudes that will work for anybody and stay with you in even the most extreme freak-out or space-out, even when your mind is completely blown. These attitudes are so simple that I am surrounding them with a picture of the universe to show why they work, even when you don't believe they will. The universe is so vast and complex that if we needed books like this to become enlightened, we'd never make it. But, on the other hand, the universe is so simple in design that there's no reason for anyone to be puzzled or unhappy. It's easy to control your existence, no matter how complicated it looks. I've abandoned the idea of writing this a number of times, on the grounds that people didn't know it because they didn't want to. But in the end, there is no more reason for writing it than there is for not writing it. I'm writing what I will want to read one day, when I'm stuck in a weird place. Several times on bummers I've thought, what could I say to someone in this state of mind that would mean anything? That's the kind of information testing this has had. There isn't a line in this book that is there just because it sounds beautiful. The information is practical and reliable. It has taken me and others safely through some extreme states of mind, and can be reduced to a few phrases that are simple enough to recall in any crisis. The first chapter begins with a briefly stated idea about how the universe is made, and the rest of the book discusses our lives from that viewpoint. It is a far-reaching idea, extending into every field of knowledge, and since it took me many years to get it straight, I cannot expect that anyone else should casually accept it. All I can do is ask you to play the idea game, see where it leads, check it out against what you know. What has to be true for the universe to look to us as it does? Is there a credible bridge between matter and spirit? Like many people, I wrestled with such concerns for years, and this book contains some of the conclusions. Perhaps these conclusions will be meaningful to you only if you follow your own process of checking and proving. If so, the first chapter contains all you will need to keep you busy for a long time. On the other hand, if all you want is a handy trip guide, you'll find that too. I'm really not expecting anyone to take these sentences and expand them again into a feeling of realization, but if one of you whom I've never met or hear about gets a little bit higher and happier, then I would write all this again 1,000 times over. I hope you find the vibrations pleasant. Who are we? We are equal beings, and the universe is our relations with each other. The universe is made of one kind of entity. Each one is alive. Each determines the course of his own existence. That is really all you need to know to understand this book, or to write your own. Everything I say has its roots in that first paragraph, and it is possible to resolve any question by going back to it and thinking it through for yourself. The universe is made of one kind of whatever it is, which cannot be defined. For our purpose, it isn't necessary to try and define it. All we need to do is assume that there is only one kind of whatever it is, and see if it leads to a reasonable explanation for the world as we know it. The basic function of each being is expanding and contracting. Expanded beings are permeative, contracted beings are dense and impermeative. Therefore, each of us, alone or in combination, may appear as space, energy, or mass, depending on the ratio of expansion to contraction chosen, and what kind of vibrations each of us expresses by alternating expansion and contraction. Each being controls his own vibrations. A completely expanded being is space. Since expansion is permeative, we can be in the same space, with one or more other expanded beings. In fact, it is possible for all entities in the universe to be in one space. We experience expansion as awareness, comprehension, understanding, or whatever we wish to call it. When we are completely expanded, we have a feeling of total awareness, of being one with all life. At that level, we have no resistance to any vibrations or interactions with other beings. It is a timeless bliss, with unlimited choice of consciousness, perception, and feeling. Space is a level of experience that any of us can reach, but it is difficult to talk about on our present plane, precisely because it is unlimited. It is that which chooses limits and makes definitions. We might say all experiences are available to the one mind, and the one mind is all of us, or any of us, at the highest level of expansion. Or we might theorize, God could not create anything more limited than himself that would persist. But if he duplicates himself, he can enjoy a persistent universe. Each entity, therefore, is a duplicate of God, made in his image. It doesn't matter which words we use. We exist and the universe exists. And it is possible to test this expansion and contraction idea within the limited scope of what is real to us as human beings, especially in atomic or subatomic studies. When a being is totally contracted, he is a mass particle, completely imploded. To the degree that he is contracted, a being is unable to be in the same space with others. So contraction is felt as fear, pain, unconsciousness, ignorance, hatred, evil, and a whole host of strange feelings. At an extreme, he has the feeling of being completely insane, of resisting everyone and everything, of being unable to choose the content of his consciousness. Of course, these are just feelings appropriate to mass vibration levels, and he can get out of them at any time by expanding, by letting go of all resistance to what he thinks, sees, or feels. When a being is alternating expansion and contraction, he is energy. My guess is that at the middle point, 50% expansion and 50% contraction, a being would be logical, non-subjective, egoless, predictable. This may be the zero, which is one side of the energy equation in physics, as well as the ego death we go through in expanding to higher levels of consciousness. It is important to note that energy is not quantity of anything objective. Energy, like space and matter, is what a lot of live beings are doing. Energy beings react to their neighbors in a way that is often predictable and apparently automatic, like falling dominoes. While relating to space beings, energy beings will appear to be high, vibrating rapidly, with a sense of increasingly subjective freedom. Orientated to mass beings, they will be low energy, vibrating more slowly, with a growing feeling of subjective compulsion and disorder. The universe is an infinite harmony of vibrating beings in an elaborate range of expansion-contraction ratios, frequency modulations, and so forth. There is a particular set of feelings and ideas that goes with every vibration, every combination, every vibration level. There is also a different perception of how other beings are relating from every different viewpoint. The thought of these possibilities is so staggering, trying to contain them all in writing is so ridiculous, that it is hard for me to move my pen any further. However, what we are after is to isolate some basic attitudes that will recover awareness of our freedom to move around in this maze, or go straight to the top. What we need to remember is that there is nobody here but us chickens. The entire universe is made from beings just like ourselves. Every particle in every atom is a live being. Every molecule or cell is a tribe of beings. Energy is a large number of us vibrating together. Space is an infinite number of our brothers and sisters in perfect bliss. There is no important difference between live and dead matter. since both are made up of live entities. Not only is mass convertible into energy, but energy is convertible into space, and vice versa. It is our own withdrawal from awareness, our own mass contraction, that makes us see our brothers and sisters as objective matter, energy and space. We always have the experiences and perceptions appropriate to our vibration level. The same rules apply to all of us. The rules do not come from anywhere outside of ourselves. They come from the truth that we are all equal. We all have the same range of possible behavior and experience. We are free to do anything we want to, within the necessary laws of our relations as equal beings. And love must be the first law. Love is the action of being in the same space with other beings, which means that love is real as we are. Love is not a limited idea. It is something we do, ultimately, with our whole selves. Perhaps many of us do not like it, where we are in the universe right now, but we can all be certain that we've got where we are by our own decisions to expand in love or withdraw from it. The kind of brain and body you have, the family and society, the time in history you were born, all of these and more were determined by you yourself, by your degree of expansion, by your willingness to love. No one did anything to you. No one forced you. There is absolute justice in the experience that each one of us is having every second of the day. In one sense, we can all relax, because nothing is secret, nothing is lost, nothing is forgotten, and no one is abandoned. Each of us is the same kind of being, capable of outflowing attention and awareness, or withdrawing from it, and that is all we need to do. Give full, permissive, loving attention to absolutely everything we see, in our minds, in our bodies, in our environments, and in other people. Expansion in love is action that is available to every being in the universe all the time. A willing awareness will take us to heaven. A loving attitude will make us free. Nothing else controls our fate. Good or bad behavior is secondary. Whatever you are doing, love yourself for doing it. Whatever you are thinking, love yourself for thinking it. Love is the only dimension that needs to be changed. If you are not sure how it feels to be loving, love yourself for not being sure of how it feels. There is nothing on earth more important than love, which conscious beings feel towards each other, whether or not it is ever expressed. There is no point in worry or wonder about worse or better spiritual conditions, although that game is available. You will not be able to rise above your present vibration level to stay until you love the way you are now. No matter what your spiritual condition is, no matter where you find yourself in the universe, your choice is always the same, to expand your awareness or contract it. And you have to start where you are. There is nothing wrong with being where you are. It's one of the infinite experiences available to us. What you are, I can be. What I am, you can be. Whatever we have done in withdrawing from full consciousness of the one mind, we are doing now. Whatever we are doing will always be within us to do, even when we are not doing it, and therefore is not to be resisted, but transcended. These are reminders I frequently use. That's always within me. This too can be known with a fully expanded awareness. We can trust the flow of the universe. If these rules of love are true, then they are effective whether we agree with them or not, whether we are conscious of them or not, whether or not we use words to talk about them. The reality of love is something you do for yourself, with or without words, and judge the results from your own experiences. All information like this exists in space and all of time, and doesn't need books for its reality. It's always within you. It follows that I am not writing this book out of any sense of objection to what anyone believes now. Beyond all reason is the mystery of love, and you know we are all equal. No one in truth needs any help from anyone else. No one needs to be told anything. or given anything. And then you do the most compassionate act anyway. Do the best for your brothers and sisters that you have in you. I'm relaying what was given to me when I felt I needed it. If I felt that way, maybe someone else does too. This is a letter to my brothers and sisters. A love note to try to show how. When we thought love wasn't working, it was working perfectly. It's an interesting mental exercise to turn the whole game upside down. The problem is not how to free yourself from that mass level, how to get enlightened. The real question is, if you are completely free and a self-determined being, how did you lock yourself into a body to play games on the material plane? How did you get yourself and others to agree to this game? And how did you get it to be so compulsive? Several times when I've spaced out, I flashed. Well, if it's that easy to get out, I might as well go back and play the game. Maybe that's the ultimate temptation. And maybe no one really wants to know how easy it is. Nobody wants to upset the game. We may all be playing Let's Pretend, hide and seek. Physical reality is one of the biggest horror movies of all time. And you know how we love horror movies. If the universe, as we see it from our vibration level, is illusory, only partially true, then that's all the more reason for enjoying it and loving it instead of getting freaked out by it. Everything that happens on Earth can be experienced on any of thousands of different vibration levels, from the most euphoric to the gloomiest. We are entirely free to emphasize any level we wish. We change nothing but our own attention and love, our own expansion and love. Since the universe is nothing but live beings, each controlling his own level and his own relationships, there is absolutely nothing in this universe that needs to be corrected in any way. We don't have to do anything about it, whatever it is. There is consciousness everywhere in the universe, and we can trust all beings to handle their own decision. No matter how it looks, love never loses control. The laws of our relations to each other are as honest and exact as the laws of physics. I can't say I know at this moment